Hello, my name is Jeremy Wessing. I'm the executive chef at Forepaugh's restaurant in St. Paul, a very historic restaurant here in the Irvine Park neighborhood that has a very Italian and French influenced chef-driven menu. So the history of this house was built by Joseph Forepaugh. He was a dry goods trader in the 1800s. I believe the house was built in the late 1800s. It's about 150 years old, and he lived here with his wife and kids for many years. The house was abandoned. It was ended up being shuttered by the city before being reopened as a restaurant in 1970, and it was been operating as a restaurant since then. The staple of Forepaugh's Wellington. So this dish was brought on the menu by one of the original chefs, the tenderloin with duxelle in a lattice cut mille-feuille or puff pastry. This iteration, I use a classic French bordelaise sauce with seasonal vegetables and finished with a little bit of green oil and some cress, chervil, 5-ounce tenderloins that we circulate and then shock, sear, and then brush with horseradish, a little bit of Dijon, and then we finish with a couple ounces of duxelle. The duxelle is made with cremini and oyster mushrooms, a lot of cream, butter, cognac, shallot, thyme. It's a very classic French duxelle. Another dish that kind of highlights French classic, the pea and blue crab agnolotti. This dish was actually from the opening. Agnolotti is almost like a pillow stuffed with cotta and peas and Parmesan. We finish it in a lemon creme fraiche beurre. This is creme fraiche, lemon, shallot, butter, dressed with some blue crab. We finish it with some preserved lemon and sea beans, which gives us a brightness and some salinity, a little bit of texture. I like the pop of fresh sea beans. And then dill and dill oil. If there was a French-Italian hybrid dish, that would probably be it. I was born in Nevada, Boulder City, moved up to the Midwest with my family. Got into food pretty young in my life. Worked on a goat farm, learned cheese making. I'd been cooking around the Twin Cities for a while. I opened Mucci's Italian here in St. Paul with Tim Niver. While I was at Mucci's, I was really intrigued by the fresh pasta element to it. Another unique dish we have here at Forepaugh's is the duck orecchiette. It's an extruded orecchiette. It means little ear in Italian. Classically, like the nonnas, they hand kind of press them with their thumb and get that ear. Ours is a red wine orecchiette, so in place of water we use a red wine reduction fortified with a little bit of beet powder to kind of give you that essence of like burgundy. The duck is ground and we quickly cure it with some salt, sugar, juniper, chili, very savory kind of crumbled sausage. Picked up with garlic, Calabrian chili, some rapini. In a ripping hot pan, we get a nice char on that. Deglaze it with some white wine and a little bit of lemon juice and a hefty amount of butter. Make a nice pan sauce out of that and put the orecchiette in there. Finish with pecorino romano. The pasta and the Italian influence kind of leaning into the neighborhood. There's a lot of obviously Italian restaurant, Italian influence. It's just a really savory, rich dish. Tim reached out to me for yet another opening or reopening, and he did a walkthrough with me. We checked the place out and it was very chilling and kind of haunting. All the tables were set from the last service. The white tablecloths, you know, the mag wine glass, stemware still out, all dusty. I had learned that the previous chef prior to closing had passed away. I didn't know about the haunted backstory. The miso sea bass, kind of an interesting dish, but it was one of the dishes that they wanted to have on the reopening menu. We take toasted farro, pick it up like risotto, so a farotto, if you will, with a nage, just like an herb water and herb broth, rather than like a classic, chicken stock like a normal risotto. We finish it with butter and some Parmesan cheese. We have a roasted butternut squash that's kind of like the seasonal veg that we like to put into that farotto. Then there's some flowering cauliflower that we pick up with an allium confit, shallot and garlic that we very gently poach in oil. Finish with a little bit of butter and lemon juice. It's a blend of buttery sweetness from the fish, a little bit of texture and crunch from the cauliflower, a little bit of brightness from the lemon juice, and obviously the alliums on the bed of farotto, which gives it a nice creamy whole grain kind of bite. Molly was the maid or housekeeper here, and they had their love affair and the wife found out. Well, after the discovery of Molly being pregnant, Joseph took his wife and kids and left. And Molly took her own life and possibly the life of the child behind us at the chandelier over there or out the window. There's the rumor of her haunting this house to this day. And I've heard everything from footsteps to seeing shadows on the wall, things moving. Mafalde bolognese, it's a house extruded semolina extruded pasta. Mafalde is the shape. This is very classic with bolognese. It's a rich pork and beef ragu with a lot of veal stock, plum tomatoes, plenty of cognac. I think what makes the bolognese here at Forepaugh special is the addition of cured meats, pancetta, and prosciutto, and then finish with the chicken livers. We mount in porcini butter, a paste of porcini mushroom, and finish that with a little bit of a truffle, and truffle salt, and some Parmesan. That all molds into this really rich, decadent, meaty sauce. I really just want like everyone to experience Forepaugh and the building, but also the French influence while honoring the Italian influence of this neighborhood, and to interact with the history of Forepaugh and the history of the food and what Forepaugh has been these last 50 years, and take it with them when they leave.